BlackRock, which is going to get approved. It's just going to get approved. And it's going to be the only one that gets approved. And maybe after they collect 20, 30 billion, then others will get approved, but they're going to get approved first. Guess who they're working with? Coinbase.
Morgan Creek Capital's Mark Yusko gives his latest update and prediction for Bitcoin, crypto, and why massive market manipulation of prices is happening right now. Yusko explains that while speculators initially drive price movements, giants like BlackRock have entered the market and shifted the cycle by pushing prices beyond fair value, resulting in the crashes we've seen. He also points out that historical trends indicate a parabolic increase in market cap in the coming months, as we near the Bitcoin halving in March of 2024. With real money now flowing in, Yusko emphasizes that the crypto market has become more significant than ever, and institutional investors are driving the price of cryptocurrency in such a way that even 1 to 3% of a portfolio will have massive gains in the next 6 months. Let's get right into the latest interview with Mark Yusko, as he gives his prediction for Bitcoin and the crypto market in the last quarter of 2023, and why investors need to rapidly seize this opportunity. Don't forget to share your thoughts and comments down below, and leave a like if you enjoy the content we do here. Let's get right into the video.
And that to me says so much that, one, this is coming, right? There's 755 for 756. I'm staking the stake in the ground. This is not going to be the second denial for them. Too much for them to lose to even throw their hat in the ring. They could have just said, y'all have fun. It's an index of money laundering. That's what Larry said, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So could have just stuck with that. You want to regulate by enforcement? Okay. Not really a good way to run an agency. But we've had other agencies do it. We've had the FDA do it for a while. We've had the a couple other, I'm blanking on, but we've seen it, right? We've seen very political people do very political things. The problem is, if you're regulating a law or a rule and someone doesn't comply with it, you're on pretty solid ground, right?
Yeah.
If you regulate air, we were going to pass this rule, so you should have known we were going to pass this rule, and therefore you violated it. That's kind of what they did with BlockFi and Voyager and those guys. They're like, well, you violated this law, but you didn't say it was a law. You actually said the opposite. You said they weren't securities. Well, but you should have known we were going to change our mind. Okay, so that seems destined for failure, which we've seen a number of failures. But what the SEC did here, which is just, and they're just getting smacked every which way from Sunday. If you basically take a bad position against an established law, a judge, unless you can handpick the judge, and like we see in Billions, if you can pay them off and do it, unless you can do that, you're in trouble, because a good, honest, independent judge is going to do their job. And they're going to say, no. And we saw that in the Ripple case. We saw it in this case. We saw it in the Uniswap case. So thankfully, we got some good, honest judges, which they do still exist. But I still believe, right, that the bigger powers that are controlling this particular person who's on this enforcement kick, I still think he's kind of the pawn, the tool, right? He was installed into this position, and he's like, okay, now I got to go do these things that they're telling me to do, which is okay. And there's probably some of his own personal stuff in there too. But ultimately, I don't think those powers that be are done fighting. And I think your insight on custody is really, really important, because in the early days, Jay Clayton would get up there on the stage, and he and I actually did a panel on this together. And he would say, it's about market manipulation. We can't approve this because these markets are manipulated. And I was like, wow, you mean more manipulated than the penny stocks and the low float stocks? Like, I don't know if you've been following this VinFast EV company. This is crazy.
The ongoing adoption of Bitcoin by governments, institutions, and media signifies a broader recognition of its value. However, Yusko asserts this journey is just beginning, comparing the initial years to the current widespread interest and investment. With a giant spotlight on Bitcoin ETFs, Yusko highlights this being a significant development in the financial ecosystem. He also suggests that BlackRock, under the guidance of Larry Fink, will lead the charge in obtaining regulatory approval for a Bitcoin ETF. This move, he contends, will underscore Bitcoin's enduring relevance as an asset and its potential as a hedge against currency devaluation.
We've seen this movie before. We know exactly how it goes. GBTC, right? Big winners this week. The last run, when we went from 10,000 to 60,000 the first time, was all GBTC, right? GBTC got to $20 billion. And the reason the price went up so much is what people forget. The vast majority of Bitcoin is either not movable, right? It's in a multi-sig and there's some problem or whatever. Lost or stolen. Hodler. I'm not selling for anything, right? And so it's round numbers. Like, this is one of those 85% of all statistics are made up on the spot. I'm going to argue 80-ish% is that. And so 20% is kind of the free float. So back in the last cycle, the market cap was a couple $100 billion. So if a couple $100 billion, 10, 20% of that is $40 billion. If you get $10 billion of flow on a $40 billion free float, price is going to go ballistic. And it did. And remember, it was fast. We went from 10 to 60 fast. And, then Elon came out with his tweet and it went down and then it recovered back up to 69 or whatever. And that was the end on the day of the futures. So this time, and I give all credit to Eric, who we were going to have join us today, but Eric Balkunis is a great analyst. And he did the math, right? He tracks the money that's in the kind of RIA and the people who use mutual funds and ETFs. And there's about $30 trillion. Okay. It's a lot of money. So when the ETF is approved, money's coming in, right? Right now, UBS can't do it. Merrill Lynch can't do it. All of these big RIAs can't do it. As soon as that ETF's approved, bang, they'll all have to ascend. So let's say 0.1%. Okay, 0.1%, $30 billion. 30 billion. So today, market cap's around $500 billion. 20% of that's 100 billion. 30 on 100, that's a similar amount. 10 versus 40. I think we go pretty parabolic. Now, we don't have as much leverage this time, so it probably doesn't do a 5x, but a 3x, not even a hard move. But that's 0.1%. If 1%, right? My hashtag get off zero, if you go from 0 to 1%, which is not a lot. And had you done that 5 years ago, your portfolio would have compounded at 200 basis points better. So people are going to see that math, and Barry and others are going to put that out there. 1%, that's 300 billion. 300 billion on 100 billion of free float. Katie bar the door, baby. Katie bar the door.
Yusko anticipates that the crypto summer will continue its scorching run until June of the following year. As we stand on the precipice of fall 2023, merely a month away, The crypto market is poised for a meteoric surge in prices. He illustrates Bitcoin's current undervaluation, drawing in investors and enticing speculators eager to ride the waves of September's price fluctuations in pursuit of profits. Yusko's outlook is fueled by the impending wave of mass adoption, which he believes presents an unparalleled opportunity to get in on the action. He sees the race toward a six-figure price target set to unfold in just under a year. What's more, he highlights the intriguing historical pattern of Bitcoin's value surging 10x with each halving event, hinting that 2024 could catapult Bitcoin from $10,000 to an unbelievable $100,000. What do you think about Mark Yusko's prediction for Bitcoin, the crypto market cap, as well as the institutional capital pouring into the space? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. We'll see you in the next video.